Yeah, I gotta come up with. Oh, are we live?
Yeah, we are.
Apparently, we are
no
live.
introduction,
everybody.
I couldn't get a countdown.
No countdown, no nothing.
Apparently, y'all wait till I'm the captain of the ship to want to act a fool.
Tell me your captain is not here without telling me your captain is not here.
What the heck you doing, man? You got me on with these bombs. It's a Sunday. I can sleep.
You might call us bums at the gate.
Golly, that's just tough.
I love y'all, man. Look, that's how if you from Memphis, you got to check each other, man. If we don't check each other, I love you.
That is a part of it.
I love y'all, man. I love y'all. Let's get this thing going.
Let's be real.
We in there.
Yes, sir. I am the Captain Sharky. No, I'm not Captain Shark. Ed Tev Shakir heading the ship for today. Lito, what up, man? Mr. Turn Me Up. What's good, bro?
Man, I ain't seen y'all in 3 months of a Sunday, so it's good to be back.
Man. It's a blessing, brother. It's always a blessing to be on. Some of y'all don't know ball, apparently. Travels up, bro.
What's good, everybody? Apparently, these folks on Twitter don't. Even some of these big time NBA content creators, because they complaining about what's going on in the playoffs right now. So that's just
maybe it goes, bro. Some people make millions, some people make memes.
Facts.
I'm trying to do both.
My brother,
man, what?
We trying to get to both. Man.
We try to be the first podcast to do both. Let's get it.
Millions and memes. Let's get it, man. We started with $1 in a dream. Now we aiming for millions and memes. Let's get it, man. And of course, my brother Sheedy. Second podcast with him. He already wilding, so ain't no telling what he say, y'all.
Yeah, I won't. I'll stop. I'll stop right there. I'll save it for the show because we're here.
Sure. Shout out J. Cole. Yes, sir. 3 the Hardaway. Wilding with my boy Savage. Shout out
J. Cole got Caleb Martin a job. Talk to him, Cole.
All right, man. Make sure y'all follow LBR Media at LB_Media on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit the notification, listen, and subscribe on 11 different platforms, y'all. 11 different platforms. I have to read that. You know what I'm saying? But make sure we get it in. And of course, let's start with the real talk. Something big happened in Washington. Magic Johnson is officially, I guess, part-time owner, co-owner. One of his groups were able to purchase the Washington Commanders. I don't know if they're going to keep the name, but it's finally looking good for the Black community. Of course, we have Black leadership in Vegas, so now we got Black leadership in Washington, one of the blackest cities in the U.S. So it's a good look for the Black community. Let's get how the fellas feel. Fellas, how do y'all feel? Lito, Sheedy, then Trev. Let's get it.
For me, you talk about DC being a Black community, and you talk about the Black leadership that you see now in for Washington. Shout out to Black people for keeping this story relevant in terms of like making sure that awareness was brought to Daniel Snyder, and for getting him and that regime out of there. I feel like, it was our people, it was Black Twitter that consistently, like, hey, hit the retweet on this, hit the like on this one, just to make sure that what Snyder did behind the scenes, wasn't forgotten. So from that aspect to now see that he's out of there, to now see there being new ownership, there being a new regime for Washington, I'm happy for them, and I'm happy for the Black people for doing whatever they had to do in terms of bringing awareness to this particular situation.
Sorry, yeah, and we have to get rid of, and I appreciate the African American community being mentioned, but I want to first even go a little bit deeper into the other species, the women who have been done wrong so many times by Daniel Snyder, and so many cover-ups as well. I mean, when you have a lot of money, I feel like a lot of things get swept underneath the rug. If you're not sure, talk to your local billionaires, because you probably can't even talk to them. But excuse me, the stuff that is done by them, and is paid off by the almighty dollar, man. When you're watching stuff on like, I don't know, Stars, and you're watching stuff, Snowfall, and all these other things, and you're seeing how money can cover up stuff, I'm going to be all the way honest because it's called Let's Be Real. That's what Daniel Snyder's been doing all these years. They rushed to put the stadium together as well, 1997, I believe, or 99, 1 to 2. And so that needs to be something that they need to take care of almost immediately. Would love that. On top of all that, kudos to them for buying this. Magic Johnson is a part of it. Josh Harris is his group. They settled for about purchasing it, for a little bit over $6 billion, which is the highest, I believe. And we just had Walt Disney and all those people kind of buy, the Broncos, I believe, last year as well. And the thing, to be honest, I'll be honest here, Daniel Snyder made a lot of money with this Washington team from the time he purchased it for under $1 billion to now selling it for $6 billion. Which the rich get richer. It's crazy, even when they're in the wrong. But again, kudos now to Josh Harris, Magic Johnson, and others that are part of this conglomerate that will lead Washington. Washington is also, I know they got Ron Rivera there. They got a new offensive coordinator as well. I feel like there's kind of like a washing of the sins, so to speak, in Washington of what's been going on. And I hope that they continue to do this for at least 2 to 3 more years. Because they are still not going to make it out of the NFC East as champions. But that's neither here nor there. Just continue to do me a favor. Keep your hands and your private parts away from women, okay? And continue to be an outstanding community that you are. To mention already that Washington, D.C. is predominantly has a lot of different ethnicities, specifically African-American. Football team, 67% African-American. So eventually we'll stop being just the players eventually, and we'll become part of the ownership. And thanks to those people that are leading the charge for that, because I think a few of us may be afraid because we got the money. Don't get it confused. We got the money, but we can't seem to always come together to make things happen like this. But again, kudos to Magic Johnson and Josh Harris, along with others of this conglomerate, to take over and, like I said, wash the sins of the Commanders.
Yeah, you could pretty much kind of sense this whole thing coming once the official name change actually happened. Because as everything was going down prior to the name change, things with Daniel Snyder started to surface just a little bit, and then as time went along, came a little bit more magnified. So to everyone's credit, kudos to Black Twitter and everyone for actually being the ones at the forefront to have these people hold Daniel Snyder accountable for his actions. So again, all of us have said it. Kudos to Josh Harris, and the rest of his group on this sale for $6 billion. You see somewhat of a changing of the guard to what she just alluded to, in a complete rehash, a complete washing of the past that was the Washington football team, or the Redskins, as they were called in the past. At this point, we just hope it translates on the field. I don't see immediate changes. I don't see them really being major players in the NFC East as of yet, but it remains to be seen. But again, this is a great day for us per se. And again, let's just hope it translates on the field.
So and Trevor, you actually brought up my next point, or a question I wanted to ask when you called them the Redskins, because with this team, they have had like a racist history, even like to go as to call their team Redskins, for one. And for two, y'all brought up the sexual allegations with Snyder in the locker rooms or whatever. So how much pressure do you think the NFL put on Snyder to sell to somebody with a Black, leadership, involved with their organizations? Or do y'all think it was pressure to sell to somebody Black? Because if he would have just sold to another white man without any kind of Black representation in there, I think that'll be some kind of outcry. Or, it could be, hey, it's just another time when, we can't get a win. So do y'all think the NFL did pressure them into selling to somebody like a Magic Johnson?
Nah, I wouldn't I wouldn't give the rest of the NFL owners that much credit. And even then, they still have to approve the sale coming up in their next owners meeting, which I believe is next week, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think that they were pressured for they pressured Daniel Snyder to sell to a black owner. I just think the public opinion pressured him to sell the team, period. Because with all of this stuff coming out, he was about to start losing money. There's one thing the rich don't like losing, and that's losing money. You in a guaranteed you own a guaranteed $1 billion organization as part of a larger family that is the NFL, and you're losing money just for the simple fact that people are not coming to games or choosing not to support because of the actions that you've made. Yeah, that's a lot of pressure on yourself to sell the team and just kind of get as much as you can, get out as quickly as possible. So no, I don't think the NFL pressured him to sell to a specific group of owners, whether it was black or white or whatever. I just think he was pressured to sell the team, period.
Literally everything that Trevor just said. I don't believe there. I mean, could there be a scenario in which, they tried their best to sell to somebody black? Yes, to what Sheedy said, you've seen these TV shows, and they talk about money. You talk about, when people have money, things can happen, right? So I wouldn't necessarily put it past, like, if I ever heard that story 10 years later, I wouldn't be surprised. But to what Trevor already said, I think there was just so much pressure just to sell, because what Snyder and his team did was start to put a stain on the NFL shield. And again, to exactly what Trevor said, the NBA, the NFL, all of these huge sports leagues, like, they care about bottom dollar. And when that starts to, when that money starts to not, gain interest, or they're not increasing value of that, then they're going to find a way to do whatever they need to do, whether it's get somebody out of a job, make somebody sell a team, whatever the case may be. They'll make sure they do that.
Yeah, and to walk along with what has already been said, actually was a great question. You want to go by Captain Took, whatever it may be. We'll call you General Took.
General, I like General.
General Took.
General.
It should be no. Major Took. I like that one actually.
Looking at
but Major Took.
My man.
I believe that, like, the pressure was to get rid of him having the ownership itself. Finding the right people is always key, but absolutely getting them. Winter Soldier 2, I'll take that one. But getting him out of that, so the other thing that I'll say with the money, power, relinquishing and making him get rid of the power that he also has over the team was crucial. And so as we move forward to this, I believe this now opens up not open the floodgates, but it makes it more appealing to women, right? To want to buy something from Washington, because I'm sure it was kind of more closed legs right there for them to actually want to be a part of something where Washington is, allowing a man to do what he shouldn't have been doing. I would keep it PG. I went a little 13. Sometimes I will go XXX 17, but that's only on my phone. All right, I'll pass it over.
Thank God Trump ain't president anymore. It was happening all in Washington. It probably still is, but that's neither here nor there, man.
That's a whole other discussion, brother.
That's a whole other
discussion.
Shout out to Scandal. It's a lot to happen. But shout out to Magic Johnson, man. He's gonna be taking. That's a lot of flights that he's gonna have to take too, from LA to Washington. Sheesh. Talk about flight mileage.
He probably already got an apartment out there, bro.
He gonna need something.
Yeah.
Bro gonna be at the first game against the Rams, and then you probably ain't gonna see him no more until the Commanders start winning.
That's what they did with the Lakers, huh?
And the Dodgers.
And the Dodgers. Yeah, and the Dodgers.
and the Dodgers.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't no joke. That's the truth.
No, I'm all for it. I love it.
Yeah, it's legit. Like, I'm not finna show my face until y'all start winning. That's why I pay general managers and team and player and coach personnel for. So get it done.
Get it bad. Well, let's get it done. Let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Today's podcast is brought to you by the BetStamp app, which is helping thousands of people win their sports betting for free. The same way travelers use Google Flights or Expedia to find the best prices, bettors can now use BetStamp to do the same. When you place a bet, the odds given by a sport book will determine how much you can possibly win. Even when betting on the same outcome, different sports books will offer varying payouts, and these differences can be huge. Thankfully, BetStamp allows you to easily line shop for the most profitable odds across all sports books. You can click on any matchup and instantly see all the different odds for game lines, player props, and even future bets. Line shopping is the simplest way to find the edge in sports betting and maximize your chances of winning long term. On average, BetStamp users win an extra $1,000 plus yearly just by line shopping. You can find the BetStamp app on the Apple iOS Store, Google Play Store, or through your browser at www.betstamp.app. To access all these benefits, sign up using promo code LBR and start your journey to successful sports betting today. If you forget to use the code upon sign up, you can always enter our code in your BetStamp account settings afterwards. Check it out.
All right. Shout out to BetStamp. We can't wait till y'all out here in Arizona for real. Because, yeah, ScamDuel is kicking my ass.
FanDuel is on the family of betting sites with BetStamp, right?
Yeah, nah, I just use one, but I need to start using them all. I need to start using. Help me out, please. Man. All right, y'all. So there are in the NBA, let's say the Student Association, there have been, of course, a bunch of coaches that have been let go. You talk about the Bucks, the Suns, the Sixers, the Raptors, and the Pistons. I want to ask y'all, if you were coaching, you are a coach, so shout out to you. Which team would you want to coach right now if given an opportunity to? Again, Bucks, Suns, Sixers, Raptors, Pistons. Where would y'all want to go? We can start with Trevor, go around Sheedy, and then Lito.
Oh man, it really depends on what you're trying to do as a coach. I mean, ultimately, you do want to win. So the obvious two answers will be either the Bucks or the Suns. So it is either one of those.
Not the Sixers. You get to work for Daryl Morey.
No,
he's great at what he does.
No, I'm more likely is more likely going to be out, or unless they pull something astronomical off to get him some help. I'm not going to Philly. If I'm trying to win, I'm either choosing the Bucks or the Suns. And to be honest with you, I'm more than likely going to lean towards the Suns. I got at least 2 or 3 more years of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker together. So the championship window is still kind of open just a tad bit. All you really have to do is just fill out the roster. Get rid of DeAndre Ayton because he's damaged goods. Or he wasn't even goods to begin with. He didn't even want to be in Phoenix to start. You're more than likely stuck with Chris Paul because no one's going to take on that contract. So you can at least get one more serviceable season with him and just fill out the rest of this roster with some suitable depth. And they could very easily be right back in championship contention. So like your name says, at least they got 2 from the Nuggets because I don't think nobody has ever been able to beat the Nuggets so far in this playoffs. So,
I feel good about that too, by the way.
Yeah. So, if I had to just 100% choose a team, if I'm trying to win right away, it would definitely be the Phoenix Suns. I would go with the Bucks as a close second.
Excellent. For some of the reasons that you mentioned, I would not choose the Suns. I would not choose the Bucks. I'll give my why behind that. I'm not choosing the Bucks because Chris Middleton is damaged goods. Drew Holiday will be out after 2 seasons. Then you got retool around Giannis. The Suns, I would not be a part of the Phoenix organization. Not because I know they got new ownership and all that, but honestly, wherever KD goes, you get fired as a coach. So I'd rather not. And so I would rather lean on either the Raptors or the Pistons. I'll take a Pistons core that's up and coming. Kay Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, James Wiseman, Jalen Duren. That Pistons team with motivation, right? I'm not saying they're about to be championship material, but I'm telling you, I can coach them so that we in a fighting chance day in and day out. And I believe that they are a team that is looked over and past so much, they're going to be playing with house money. So honestly, I'd rather take the Pistons. I would have said the Raptors, but I also believe the Raptors are about to be in a fire sale. And I think they're going to, Fred VanVleet is going to be gone. Pascal should be on the trading block somewhere before February. So you're going to be building around OG and then whatever else, and Scotty Barnes possibly. And so honestly, I think the Pistons core, so to speak, is more set in regards of how young they are. And what? I have another losing season. What you going to do? Fire me the first season or the second season? No, I'm good. Where I think the Bucks and the Suns have more pressure to, I don't want to say win now, but yes, win now. The 76ers, to me, are going to be without James Harden next year. James Harden is gone. So now what do you do with this lineup where the second highest paid player is Tobias Harris? And then Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, and then you got some people. And what's the other one? The
Bucks.
Now, yeah, and like I said, in the Bucks, it's Giannis for sure. Chris Middleton, player option this year. He should be traded. That's me being honest. Drew Holiday has already come out and told you, I'm only playing 2 seasons and I'm gone. So you can't. So that would mean I might get a championship with Milwaukee in 2 years, or who knows, I might luck up and get that one. And then what? And then I start falling off and y'all gonna fire me like y'all just did Bud? Nah, I'm cool. Give me the Pistons and we're gonna go bad boy all day. Boss up and get this money. If you're from Detroit, you know what I'm talking about.
I'm actually going to go Milwaukee. I hear what you're saying, Sheedy, but I feel like, granted, Drew Holiday is going to he's going to only be there, 2 years? And knowing that I still have Giannis on the roster for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years, I think that's the quickest window. If I want to win and almost win immediately, I'm going to look in the East, and I'm probably going to look in Milwaukee to say, I have a star player in Giannis, top five player in the league, who's relatively healthy. I have Drew Holiday on my roster again. I'm going to only have him for 2 years. He's relatively healthy. He's going to give you those two alone, or it's going to give you, 45, 50 wins, if nothing else. I think you can keep most of their roster. You definitely got to find something to do with Chris Middleton. Like, that's something I'm addressing in interview room is, if I take this job, we got to find some way to move Chris Middleton. And I think you're going to get some value out of that trade back to you. I'm not sure what that trade looks like, but that's what I would do. If I were, if I was a coach out here looking, if I'm Monty Williams or something like that, I'm looking into Milwaukee and say, I think I can do something with their roster relatively quickly. And, if I'm out of there in 3 years, I think I would have done at least my fair thing, or I would have done everything that I could to get them to a championship, which I think you can do. We saw what Giannis did or did not do against Miami, but just kind of listening to him, since the season has ended, he wanted that smoke with Jimmy. It sounds as if, the coach didn't allow him to do that. It sounds as if the coach was not willing to make adjustments. So therefore, they got booted out of there relatively quickly. I just think with Giannis and Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez, most of their roster, you find something to do with Chris Middleton, you can make some noise in the East. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I don't mean to step on your toes, but the Bucks next year, and this is me thinking about the roster that they'll actually have, I don't think Brook Lopez is there next year. I don't think Big Eyes is there next year, and a few others. That also came into my consideration. I definitely hear you. And I listen. At this point, it's all about would you rather. Who would you rather? So I'm with you. I'm with your choice, Trevor. I'm with your choice, and then I can't wait to hear what Tuke says. I'm sure he'll say.
I like that choice with the Pistons though. That was pretty lit. I can rock with that. Look, shout out to my favorite team.
The weather's beautiful out here in Phoenix. By the time NBA games go off, I'm still able to get at least, a game or 2K in, so he ain't past midnight. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Durant, my favorite player, is out here. You got Devin Booker, able to ship out Ayton because he ain't worth none. We call him don't give a Care Bear earlier, so, that's him. But in all honesty, I'm going with the Detroit Pistons. I enjoy, and I remember talking to Trevor about this. Like, I literally enjoyed watching them play last season. They didn't win a lot, but they were fun to watch. And especially like with me being the fan of I am with James Wiseman, like not only do you get Kate Cunningham back, who was the number 1 pick that was out all last season, but you also still got a top 5 pick in itself now. I would that's pretty attractive to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they're young, they're getting their pieces together. They can be a scary team in the play-in next season, especially once they get, solidify who they're gonna pick with the top 5 pick and Kate Cunningham come in. But I love it out here in Phoenix. That Detroit weather I'm a hate, but thank God it's a hypothetical question because Detroit, like I said, I'm a fan of them, period. I love just watching them play.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't go with Detroit is they have a lot of personnel issues that they gotta work out with me. Because they were, for the start of this season here, they were one of the teams to watch because of Cade Cunningham, because he was out there just giving folks straight buckets. You can tell that he adjusted well to the NBA game from his rookie season. Jaden Ivey was no slouch as well, so having a year or two of him and Cade coming back from injury was nice. As much as we love the idea of Jalen Duren and James Wiseman being there, unfortunately, you're gonna have to make a decision on one of those two.
And I don't think so.
I honestly think you do, because one of them is going to be a backup. This is one of them is going to eventually be a backup.
I don't think so. They play well together.
They play well. I mean, only they play well, but at the they're just going to keep build. They're going to have to make a decision there, because Isaiah Stewart is, as well as he plays, he's too short to play the 5 at 6'8". You got 2 big 7-footers here. Jalen Duren showed a whole lot of promise last season. He's eventually going to be your starter. Where does that leave James Wiseman? Is James Wiseman going to be willing to come off the bench like that? Or is he want to have another fresh start? And you see Skylar's face right out the back. It just proves my point. Right. You're going to have to make a decision with those two. You tried to trade Bogut. You tried to trade Bojan Bogdanovic. So I don't even know if he's still going to be on this team next year.
That's a good point too, because they
it's a lot. It's a lot. And then Killian Hayes is a free agent, and he just proved just last season with Cade out that he can actually play in the NBA. It's a lot of question marks personnel wise with this roster. And if I was going to take over, while it's a great job to take, I need to know who's going to be my 12-man or 15-man roster for me to come in. If I'm going to be losing for a couple of seasons before things get right, I need to know who at least I'm going to be working with.
Yeah, that Phoenix sign is starting to look a little better.
That's why I say at least with Phoenix, you got 3 years of KD and Devin Booker. Granted, if you don't win, you may be out in the 3 years, but hoping that 3 years you at least got a conference finals or a championship or something. But yeah.
GD, what's up, man? What you got for that one?
I'm gonna let Skylar go first. He's about to come off mute. I'm right behind him.
Yeah, I think Trevor. I think you questioned the roster, and I feel like Detroit is early enough in their process where you don't have to make drastic decisions like that. You talked about you got to choose between James Wiseman and Jalen Duren. Not right now, you don't, because you just got James Wiseman a couple months ago. There's probably other people on their roster that you could potentially move. But there are things that I'm just like, if I'm a coach and I know I have the backing of patience from my leadership, from my ownership group, that's not a bad choice, honestly. I think for me, the reason I didn't choose Detroit is just because it's just one of those franchises I just don't trust ownership. It's been a very long time since I've seen them press the right buttons. Like whether that's roster, whether that's coaching, whatever the case may be. So that's the part that I did not choose Detroit, but the roster's actually really, really good. I think you can at least give it time to say, okay, now we probably need to move X, or we probably need to move Y. You got time with that roster, in my opinion.
Yeah, and again, to point that Skylar, I knew he would probably talk about that is if you're asking me to coach, if I know what I'm getting myself into with the Suns, which is realistically championship or bust. They didn't fire Monty Williams because he made it to the second round. They fired him because he didn't get to the finals. Same thing with the Bucks. The Bucks, Bud got fired. All these people got fired because they didn't make it to the championship round. So the expectation immediately is championship. They may give you 2 years. They may, but after 2 years, if you ain't got what it takes, it's over with. Whereas, to the point that you made, yes, actually, Bo was signed for like, I think 3 years, 20 million a season, something like that. So he's going to be your veteran, so to speak. Whoever the bigs are, you work that out. And you figure out as a coach, what I've learned is it's not necessarily what I think is the best all the time. If this is what I have, how can I utilize my strengths to be stronger and hide the weaknesses that I may have, right? And so if that means I have to start 2 7-footers, well, that's my strength right there. And that's what we're going to do. I'm put the strongest people out there in the court, so to speak, and then figure out how to convert an offense and defense to be beneficial to what they have. So honestly, I'm still sticking with the Pistons. I just think a few of those other jobs come with so much pressure, even if it's not the first year. It's definitely within the second year because every team that we've named has significant players signed for at least the next 2 years, at least. And we're talking, honestly, top 75 talent. KD, Devin Booker, Giannis, Joel Embiid. Like, these are talent MVPs. And so I can go either work with these MVPs or I can work with a fresh-headed Cade Cunningham of directing the offense. Someone like you mentioned, James Wiseman with a fresh start, how that pick and roll can go. Jalen Durham protecting himself. Like, I really, yes, I'm sold on the Pistons, actually. I'm still sold on the Pistons.
Hey, thinking of that 5, though, that 5 is nasty, though. Now that I think about it. Wiseman, Durham, Bogey, J. Knott. Yeah, that's something.
Like I said, not to spend too much time on the Pistons, but like just what I saw, like just that connectivity. Like even though you got 2 7-footers, they play completely different kind of games. So that's why I think like you kind of wouldn't have to make a choice with those two. But as far as making choices, these teams do have to make choices on coaches. So real quick, what do y'all have with the Bucks, man? Who the Bucks gonna hire?
Honestly, they should have already been calling Monty Williams the moment he got fired from Phoenix.
Yeah. Why Monty?
Monty is a player's coach who's not afraid to inspire. And your leader right now from Milwaukee is Giannis. Giannis works well with being inspired to play better basketball. He was inspired by Kobe to go and get the MVPs and then the championship. And so I think the coach that works best for them would be Monty Williams.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Monty Williams as well. Like the Bucks should have, the moment Bud was fired and the news came out that Monty Williams was fired, they should have been on the phone with him immediately. You got to keep Giannis happy because you still got him wrapped up. This team, I think this team just got sold to a new owner. So as a new owner, new owner's gonna want to make a splash, and what bigger splash that you could make from a coaching standpoint as far as hiring a head coach than hiring Monty Williams, someone who is going to make an impact on this team. And to Sheedy's point, he's a player's coach and a guy who can inspire people to go go out and be great. What better coach could be for Giannis than Monty Williams at that point? That's just a match made in heaven right there.
For everything that you said already, Monty Williams would be the right choice for me in that situation.
I like it. Let me see. Let's go to Monty Williams' ex team. Unfortunately, out here in Phoenix, man. Who we thinking out here?
Whew, this is a tough one. Because the pool of coaches is really not that great as of right now. And it's a similar situation to Milwaukee with them needing to make a splash because new ownership. Oh, man. They either promote someone or they get Mike Budenholzer. I honestly just feel that I think the owner's going to get too much of himself to kind of want to make a splash. And he's going to probably look for the big name that's out there that's proven. I mean, it's a lot of coaches that are proven, but then, like I mentioned before, the new owner is the one who fired Monty Williams. So I really think Mike Budenholzer is going to be the new coach of the Phoenix Suns. Because I don't think he's going to have enough wherewithal to promote someone that's already on the staff to the head coaching job just so they can keep things rolling. I think he's going to get so caught up in wanting to make a splash and let people know that he owns the team that he's gonna find the first big name that he can get. So I think Mike Budenholzer. I know I said through the hard way, Bud to Philly, but I had to think about it. I was like, nah, something's telling me he's gonna be in Phoenix.
Coach's name from Toronto. What's his name? Forgot his name. That's all.
Nick Nurse.
That's who I would call if I was Phoenix Suns. That's the only call that I would make. Either Nick Nurse or Sam Cassell. I feel like Sam Cassell has maybe done his due diligence, so you may be willing to see what his coaching style is like. But Nick Nurse would definitely be my first choice.
I wish this guy was available because he's already been talking trash about not wanting to be there anymore, and I feel like this would be the perfect opportunity for him. Ladies and gentlemen, that man's name is Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue will make an exceptional coach for the Phoenix Suns. He is disgruntled in LA because he cannot have his two best players on the court at the same time. We've seen what these two best players can do in Phoenix, and we've seen what Tyronn Lue can do with a team without stars. Imagine what he can do with stars, and I mean superstar talent. And so I would say Tyronn Lue. I know he's still contractually obligated to the Clippers right now, so I'll save that one. And the only person I can think of that hasn't been mentioned, I could see a return of Mike D'Antoni to the Suns. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, yeah, somebody else was going to host this damn thing.
He was on the staff in Brooklyn with KD. So
what a troll. What a troll.
He was on staff in Brooklyn with KD.
And Trevor's making it worse.
And I mean, there's a reason why I say him, because I don't believe we'll get to the Philly job in a moment, I guess. But yeah, I'm saying Tyronn Lue, and then I said Mike D'Antoni again.
Tyronn Lue would be perfect for them.
Tyronn Lue would be perfect.
He would be perfect for them. I agree with you there, but I think he sticks around with the Clippers, unfortunately, because of his contract.
Yeah, that plan B sheet he just brought up is not a good plan B.
All right,
you didn't crush it up enough. I didn't.
Hey, chill out.
All right, who you got coaching?
Laker fans, how do y'all feel about Frank Vogel?
Who the Laker fans are here?
Ex-Laker fans.
Frank Vogel's not bad though.
How would y'all feel about, because he's out there? You know what I'm saying? He's a championship winner. I mean, a couple of these coaches that y'all named, like Nick Nurse would be a pretty good one too. I was just finding like y'all had Coach Bud and then Coach Monty Williams just swapping teams, even though they were just in the NBA Finals 2 years ago. It was pretty funny. But how y'all feel about Frank Vogel?
From what I saw, I mean, Frank Vogel's cool. I mean, he's going to coach the hell out of your defense for sure. I just don't know if he's like that guy. I just don't know if he's that guy to like make sure. Because here's the thing about coaching, and we'll get to this here in a second. But what I've seen is you need a coach that can maximize his players' talents regardless of who's on the floor. Being able to effectively communicate everybody's position on the floor at the same time, especially during crunch time. And so I just don't know if Frank Vogel gives you that, and that's part of your problem in Phoenix. So that's why I'm like, I'll pass on that. I've seen it with Nick Nurse. That's why I mentioned Nick Nurse.
Yeah, I've seen Frank Vogel with a younger, PG, right? As he was accelerating into his prime. But then I also watched Frank Vogel with prime LeBron and AD, and I didn't necessarily think he was the coach. So to me, honestly, it's just a name that you're putting out there to save face. That's fine with me. I guess it don't really matter because at that point, you're telling me that everyone else is coaching and not Frank Vogel. Yeah. And yeah, he has a championship ring. So does Doc Rivers. But I'll leave that alone.
Thank you.
Here we go.
We can't hear you, my friend.
Y'all got me. Check. There we go. Speaking of Doc, you know, he just got fired and there's a position open in Philadelphia. Who y'all got going to work for that great general manager that Daryl Morey is?
Y'all talking about me
James Harden
trolling.
to go
Took the one out here trolling, talking about some great general manager and Daryl Morey. Anywho,
he's awesome. He's amazing.
Sam Cassell should get the opportunity 100%, but I don't think he will. I think with everything is going on with this team right now, they're on the verge of hitting the reset button. And unfortunately, he's going to wind up back in the situation as what he was in Toronto. I think Nick Nurse ends up getting the call for Philly. But again, I think 100% Sam Cassell should get the opportunity just to see what he can do. But to Tuke's point, Daryl Morey can't get out on his own way, and he still feels that he can win. So give me Nick Nurse as my prediction to coach the 76ers next year.
I'm Chris Wallace Jr.
I would want to say call Sam Cassell, but something about that doesn't seem right with me. So I would probably, in this instance, I'll call somebody on Eric Spoelstra's coaching staff. I don't care who it is. Like, call somebody on that coaching staff and bring them up. I'm good on Sam Cassell. I would probably be willing to do that. Like, I think calling Sam Cassell in this instance is not the right move just because he's already on staff. And I'm not sure if – I think in that situation, you need a new ear. Now, granted, Doc Rivers, the head coach, is going to be the one that's, passing down the message, defensive, standpoint here and there. I just think you need a whole new entire voice. So that's why I wouldn't call Sam Cassell. So I would call somebody on Miami Heat coaching staff is what I would do. Maybe you call Udonis Haslem or something.
He ain't on the coaching staff. Yeah, let him get a year up under his belt first.
And now we have reached the trolling objective.
Right.
Everybody, everybody has at least one troll on.
Right. I was the only one missing in action.
I think Sam Cassell. If there was a job that fits to give Sam Cassell an opportunity, I think this is the job that gives him an actual opportunity. I don't know how many other places will look at Sam Cassell besides maybe a Milwaukee, or teams that he's played with or what have you, or been on staff. But don't worry, I got something for Chris too. But give me Sam Cassell.
Cool. I couldn't even get nobody hell. Pair him up with D'Antoni again. Try to keep Harden there. He finna head back to Houston to the strip club. So I mean, shit.
Harden is on his way back to Houston, and
Yeah, I mean, it may be a last chance effort, man. Roll the dice. You never know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are good. We are good on Mike D'Antoni.
They trying to get him $200 million too? Nah, I'm good.
We are good on Mike D'Antoni. Mike D'Antoni needs to be on team's list of people to not hire. We good on that.
And Doc Rivers need to be right up under his name too.
Actually,
I mean, does Doc Rivers get hired again?
Of course he does.
Sadly, he does. I don't think he should, but he does.
What's on your mind?
Go ahead.
And not even trolling, and I mean this in the most sincerest of ways, coming from a really good place in my heart.
You better not. You better not.
The Detroit Pistons should probably take a look at Doc Rivers. The Detroit Pistons should at least take a look at him. Because here's what Doc Rivers is going to do. He may not get you to the championship, but he's going to make sure you have a good culture. You saw what he did in Philly. He got the cancer out of there. And for the most part, the locker room was intact. Now, granted, he couldn't help his players, maximize in the moment and, be the MVP that you're supposed to be. But I think what he's going to do in Detroit is set a precedent. He's going to make sure that players are held accountable. And I think for a young roster like that, that's what you need. Now, yes, will you fire him in about 3 years? Of course you will, because you at that point you would have gotten everything out of him. Then you find a coach, a newer coach, a better coach at that moment to say, now I've had my team, I've had them put in place, they have a way of how they should carry themselves on and off the court. Yes, you got it, but then now I need whomever is available at that time. So Doc Rivers is going to be hired again. Trust and believe it's going to happen.
He wouldn't take that job because he He's had too many opportunities to take similar jobs like that in the past, and he would. Burr gonna mess up. And you heard it here first. He gonna mess around and go back to Boston if Joe Mazzulla is done. I guarantee you, he'll get that phone call if Joe Mazzulla is gone. But go ahead, too.
No, Sheedy.
No, I thought he was about to give his I mean, Lito just gave his Pistons pick. I thought he was about to give his Pistons pick. My fault.
I mean, technically, we hadn't opened up the floor for the Pistons pick, but since we're here, and that is a pretty good point you made, Lito, as far as like Doc Rivers with the Pistons, young coach, known to be a player's coach, so he could rid out the bad energy if there's anything there. But like I said, he said nah to a bunch of opportunities like that. Even though, like I said, I think it'll be a good fit. Who y'all got for the Pistons? Lito said Doc Rivers. Trevor, who you got?
Shoot. Troy Weaver, the GM, has kind of played this close to the chest. So I'm not sure. I mean, he gave Dwayne Casey his promotion or whatever in the front office. Oh man. The fans of Detroit are calling for Jerry Stackhouse to coach this team. Yes. The coach of Vanderbilt, Jerry Stackhouse, they are calling for him to coach this team. Oh man,
former All-Star Jerry Stackhouse.
Yeah, former Pistons All-Star Jerry Stackhouse.
Hold on. And so is Mehmet Okur. Okay, we're not gonna keep going down that former All-Star thing. Continue.
He was All-Star with the Jazz, but that's a different story. It's the same thing. Man, I'm gonna go. Sheedy's gonna hate me for this, but I think Chris Quinn gets the job. I think having a young team like the Detroit Pistons where he can possibly have his stamp in to prove that he can actually coach, can get everything started with the Spoeltry. Give me Chris Quinn to take over the helms in Detroit, because they should. As much as Jerry Stackhouse has done whatever he's done at Vanderbilt, I haven't paid attention or whatever. Don't give in to the pressure of the fans. I think Chris Quinn should get this opportunity.
With all due respect, Jerry Stackhouse hasn't done anything in Vanderbilt. I'm not even sure why people calling for, bro.
Keep Jerry Stackhouse at Vandy. Keep Kevin Ollie coaching overtime elite. Give Chris Quinn his opportunity.
Yeah, I want to address something real quick before I talk about the Pistons job. And I'll say this. If Mike D'Antoni and others can continue to be considered for positions, then damn it, Doc Rivers can too. At the end of the day, I don't agree with him being a top 15 coach of all time. I know he has a championship. I know all these things. But damn it, if we can get a black coach, I'm going to stay keeping a black coach. That's me. But I'm not saying he needs to go where there's talent. He might need to go somewhere different. But I know he's going to turn down those positions, right? But more importantly, the new Pistons coach needs to be me.
I can agree more.
I can rock with it.
But I will say because they're not willing to pay me yet. I think this can. I mean, they don't know me yet. I mean, you can Google me. I'm here. But I would definitely say I think I would like to see Nick Nurse with the Pistons, and I'm thinking about what he did in his tenure. Again, you're not expecting this Pistons team. We just talked about this. We're not expecting this Pistons team to compete immediately for a championship run. Nick Nurse was in there for the long haul that he had. And so developing three-point culture, yes, with Doc Rivers, yes, I think Nick Nurse can bring, I'm not saying a similar culture, but a culture that can fit what they need. And so I got Nick Nurse actually for the job for the Pistons.
I think Nick Nurse can get the most out of those guys too, so that's not a bad pick.
I like that one a lot. I like both of y'all, you and Trevor's a point. And the last one,
I already had Nick Nurse in Philly, so that's why I chose Chris Quinn. So
sure, they're gonna need some kind of stability with Nick Nurse in Philly for sure. So I think he can definitely do that in Philly for sure, or in Detroit. So those are two good picks. And the last one, who's going like Nick Nurse old job? Wait a time, y'all cold. Y'all are some cold podcasters, man. Y'all are amazing. Nick Nurse.
Would you say it's December 4th cold?
It's ice cold, baby. Ice cold.
Just for you, too. Just for you.
I appreciate it, brother. Who y'all got going to Canada for the Toronto Raptors?
Wayne Gretzky. My fault. Go ahead.
Yeah, I really was going to troll y'all without trolling y'all. I was going to say, get Drake to do it.
Oh man!
The funny part is he's probably part of the coaching.
He's probably part of the coaching search anyway.
Yeah, he probably is. For real. Are you okay with Drake?
Yeah. Speaking of your board, I have a you board segment after we're done here because I just something I gotta bring up here. Shoot, who's left? Excuse me. Someone come back to me.
Oh, Skylar, you really don't care. That was
no, but now actually now that was because I didn't have an idea or a name, but now I have a name.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Maybe super unpopular, but I would look into Jay Wright, former basketball coach at Villanova. I'm pretty sure he wants to get back into coaching. Maybe the NBA is not his thing. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I would at least make the call just to see what he would say.
Yeah.
Because at this point, if you're Toronto, what do you have to lose? You know, you're about to Chidi already said it. You know, you're about to reset the team or the roster. What do you have to lose? You never know if you can find. You never know if he's that gem of a coach that can go from being able to do what he did in college and translate that to the NBA. I think he was a hell of a coach in college. So maybe that translates into the pros. You never know. I'll make the call.
You guys find somebody that's going to be willing to go to Toronto. That's one thing. And there's nothing wrong with Toronto as a city. It's just as an American, with all the taxes you have to pay, just for residing in Canada, because you both have to pay two different. So you got to find somebody willing to possibly go up there. Honestly, I'll look at Darko, the assistant coach for the Grizz right now, because he's been getting some potential ramblings have been going on along about him possibly getting a head coaching opportunity there, and I just don't see why Toronto doesn't at least give him a call. So I'll definitely look at Darko as possibly the potential coach for the Raptors.
Yeah, here, because I believe there should be a fire sale with the Raptors, I'm going Chris Quinn here. You insert him and OG. You're still gonna have OG. You're still gonna have Scotty Barnes. And you're developing around those two. I think they'll get rid of Fran VanVleet. I think Spicy P's hot. And if Chris Quinn, he's been with us since 2014, I believe. Like, he knows what he's doing. Give him a chance. So at this is where I would put Chris Quinn for the Raptors. And I believe it will be a great fit. Eventually, you're going to get collateral back for Pascal. You're going to get collateral back for Fred. And then you're going to build around two players that for sure are going to be anchors defensively for you. Still got Precious up there. I don't know what he's doing. And a few other players. But, yeah, give me Chris Quinn here for the Raptors.
Cool. I was actually trying to think of one myself. I can't think of too many. Why not get Mark Jackson? If you're going to start over, he's had – I just want to see Mark Jackson back in the league. I'm sorry.
I do too, but I think – wherever he goes, him in the front office is going to clash.
If I'm Mark Jackson, I'm not moving anywhere. I'm pretty sure he's getting paid quite a bit of money.
Keep cashing them Disney checks, bro.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't move. Okay. And no point in my pressure though on potentially losing my job. I'm good where I'm at.
Yeah.
Bang. Hand down, man down.
All right. Well, speaking of hand down, man down. That boy Jamal Murray, something serious. The man had 30. I'm cold at this, bro. I've been doing this for years. The man had 30 points in the first half last night, making me look even more of a joke, but it is what it is. Let me get y'all opinions, man. What's going on in these conference finals? We y'all got winning. Do the Lakers even got a chance to win a game against the Nuggets? We're gonna start back in the order. Litos, Sheedy, and Trevor. What's up with the Nuggets, Lakers, man? What y'all got? Gentlemen sweep. I need to get Bruni James back again. What I need to do?
I just don't see LeBron getting swept. That's the only thing. I just don't see him getting swept. So maybe he gets you one more. But for the most part, I believe this series is over.
You got to get one.
Right. I think for two main reasons. One, call a spade a spade. Denver Nuggets is the better team. But the Lakers just look gas, bro. Like, I think two things can be true. You can be one side of the coin being that Denver is the better team. But then two, the Lakers just look gas. They look like they've played 30, 40, 50 playoff games within the past 2 to 3 months. That's how they look. They look like a really good team. Like, defensively, in the half court, they are solid. But Sheedy has been saying this, whether it be on this podcast or through the Hardaway. The Lakers are terrible in the open court trying to play defense. It is god awful to watch them consistently be beat up and down the floor all game. And that's really what it is. In my opinion, that's where Denver has gotten the edge. And the Lakers continue to do the same thing, which is, they take bad shots, they turn the ball over, they don't rebound, and then within that comes a fast break opportunity for the opposing team, and the Lakers just don't get back. That's it. So he was definitely trying to tell me to hurry up and finish, but for the most part, I just think this is over with. I think LeBron gets you one. I can't see him being swept, but this series is over with.
Yeah, it was over with as of game 2. Man, not the missed dunk and all that and missed layup opportunity, but to your point I made earlier, we got to CBA should have reevaluated how the conference finals are done. Having teams play Tuesday, then Thursday, then Saturday, that doesn't boast well for this Lakers team, because they pride themselves on, especially, having those days off after they beat, whoever it may be in front of them. But when you transition to a new city, there was 3 days, right? And now you're not getting that. You're going from Denver, we go back to LA, whatever that red-eye flight was, and you got to get ready the next day because we got a game. And the Lakers' legs are not there with them. But also another thing, and I didn't really say this earlier, is watching game 3 last night. You watched as it felt like the Lakers, may pass, and eventually make a shot, right? But then, to your point, the Nuggets come down and score within like 8 seconds. And it's like, damn, I did all of that just to let them score again. The lead is still the same, if not greater at that point. And they don't have an answer. Austin Reeves is playing great, honestly. Rory's playing great, honestly. You need a lot more out of AD. You need better shot selection by LeBron James. LeBron James, even in year 20, is still one of the greatest drivers in the game. And he's still settling for threes. The moment he made one in the third quarter, I knew for sure that when he got the ball back again, he was going to shoot it again. And he did shoot it again. And he made it. He made it, right? But that doesn't change what's already happened. And that doesn't change how they finished. Y'all think Mo Bamba going to come back and save y'all? Please. The Joker had an off night. And damn near still dropped a triple-double. This is over in 5. The moment y'all get back to Denver, it's a one-way flight back to the crypto, and it's done.
My apologies to the Denver Nuggets, man, because I did have the Lakers being up 2-1 when we last talked about this, and that was hopping on Anthony Davis just continuing his play that he had in the first 2 series. But to Sheedy's point, he's been pretty much non-existent this whole entire series. I already knew about playoff Jamal Murray. It was just a matter of time before he eventually got it going. To everyone else's point, it seems like I watched game 3 as well. Every time the Lakers got a good shot, actually made a shot to kind of close the lead or kind of close the gap, Denver's right back at them and getting the easy bucket, whether it was Jamal Murray, whether it was Bruce Brown, KCP, Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., who were hitting the occasional 3 here or there. It's clearly that Denver is the better team here. I'm sorry. Y'all say y'all can't see LeBron getting swept. I saw the refs trying to give the Lakers game 3 as well to make this 2-1. This is done. The next time Denver goes back next time the Nuggets go back to Denver, they're preparing for the finals. this series is done. It's done in 4, 5 at the most.
Yeah, it's been ugly. Like, jokes on me. I've been saying, come on for me. The Nuggets, like I said on 3 Hardaway earlier, the Nuggets that I projected next year to be, they right in front of us right now. And that damn Nikola Jokic had an off game, and ain't nothing you can do about it. And then Jamal Murray, like I said, only 7 points in the second half, but he didn't have to do shit else. He did whatever he wanted. And I think who's on the perimeter that can guard Jamal Murray? You know what I'm saying? So
at 50, 40, 90, nobody's guarding him. He's averaging 50,
okay,
40,
now,
90 in
I
the
got a
Western
question.
Conference Finals.
Just real quick. I do have a question. Have they even tried Jared Vanderbilt on him? Or and it's
a couple times.
Okay, twice. Okay. I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure that I didn't miss that.
But I think something that would help is utilizing that mismatch and actually starting Hachimura. Like, you got to go all in at this point. And he did have a great game 2. Like, did what he wanted. Like, Jokic don't play defense, so utilize that. Don't stop overthinking. Get your ass to the paint. You know what I'm saying? And he's been having a good series so far, but it's like, if D'Angelo Russell's still gonna come and do 1 for 8, sit your ass on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's my guy. I mess with you, bro. D-Law mess, but 1 for 8 hurt. Like, you gotta start. You're gonna have to beat the Nuggets playing defense, which I know it sounds crazy, impossible, but like, for them to have, like, for Nikola Jokic to have an all game like that and they still lose to that nature, like, it's kind of embarrassing. That's why I had to go ahead and get Broomy James out, man. It's gonna be a get ugly for this series, and according to Shitty, it's gonna be get ugly according to the next series. With this Heat and Celtics, what the hell is going on with the Boston Celtics, or what is going right for the Miami Heat? We actually want to start. I want to start with Shitty, man. Give us your thoughts on the Miami Heat, and then go Trevor, and then Lito, man. Who you got for the rest of this series? What are your thoughts?
You're gonna put up troll now if I ever said Celtics, all right? And I won't. But the Celtics have an issue that if they don't win tonight, game 3, then they need to think about doing some serious reshuffling, because Jaylen Brown has been a shell of himself in this series. Jimmy Butler blocked his shot and then almost got it from saving it from out of bounds. He blocked it with his left hand, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. His offhand blocked it with his left hand and still almost saved the ball. Jaylen Brown, where are you at? Humbly. Jason Tatum, 4th quarter. Where are you at? Humbly. Y'all, they're getting outworked by the same play. It's the same thing 2 games in a row, and it's not getting stopped. This is a Joe Mazzulla problem. This is a heart problem. How do you still let a man who is right-handed continue to go to his right-hand side and cook you like Bobby Filet every single time? It never fails. Now, to the Heat. Excellent adjustments. We're going to make them shoot us out of the zone. And then once they shoot us out of the zone, we go back to man for a little bit, and we go right back to the zone, because it's killing them every single time. I don't know. I think Jimmy Butler has literally, because I know Jimmy Butler and Jaylen Brown are like real cool or whatever. And I really think that is playing a psyche on Jaylen, and that he's not doing what he was doing those first 2 series. Against the 76ers, we thought he was the one. And I don't even know who they played before him. The Hawks? He was the number 1. Tatum was more or less the wingman at that point. Now I don't know who is who. I really don't. But anyways, back to the Heat. Caleb Martin, unsung hero. I think he dropped 20 last game. Duncan Robinson, filling up the stat sheet for his birthday. Okay, 3-point specialist when we need him. Max Strus is playing some great defense. Gabe Vincent dropped off Jason Tatum at the end of the game. Let us not forget. All right. And I mean, Bam is playing like he needs to play. He has asserted himself each game, getting better and better. And we're not even in Miami yet. This is all in Boston. So what y'all think? Now, don't get me wrong. This is a Celtics team that I truly believe can definitely win a game in Miami. They better hope it's game 3 to give them hope. Because if they don't win game 3, it's not a fork you need to stick in them. It's a whole knife because they done.
You know what you got?
My bad. Sorry, I misheard the order. No, it's exactly what she said. No, it. I think from what you've seen from Miami, which has been extremely impressive, is that team 1 through 15 or 1 through 8, however many they playing, they're all on the same page. It seems like everybody knows everybody's responsibility. So if somebody's beat, they know where the help is coming from. If you get beat on the backside, then somebody else is coming from over here. When you watch them on defense, they're all in sync. They're all playing on a string. And you get that from your coach, bro. Like, it's amazing how Sheedy talks about it every single year, how Eric Spoelstra is not mentioned as coach of the year. And maybe I think part of that criticism is fair just because he does not do well, his team does not do well in the regular season. But Eric Spoelstra is just one of those, like, just get my team to the playoffs and we're going to make it happen. He does really good with adjustments. He does really good with lineups. He does a really good job with calling timeouts, when they call in timeouts, when is a good time to actually challenge a play, things like that. And so they get that from their coach, and you just see that defensively, but then you see that offensively as well too. Sometimes it's a matter of, we talk about that on this podcast all the time, where we feel like coaches overthink themselves, or they like think themselves out of a particular situation. Eric Spoelstra was like, "Oh, this play worked. Cool, bet. We're gonna keep hitting refresh on this same play until they stop it. And if they stop it, they stopped it at one time, and he coming right back again." I really like that about Eric Spoelstra. I think Boston does get you one in Miami, because I'm not just willing to, just say that they're willing to lay down. But Jaylen Brown does not look good. Jason Tatum, as great as he looked at the end of the last series, does not look good. To have 0 field goals as the star player of a basketball team in a Eastern Conference Finals is wild to me.
Humbly wild.
That's interesting. So I think also a lot of that is the Miami Heat defense.
Humbly wild.
But I think at this point the Heat will win. It's just a matter of how many games.
Oh, we ain't going past 6, brother.
If Boston doesn't win tonight, it's not leaving Miami. This series is done. I want to say Boston can get one, but I gotta see it, man. Because even then, it took 7 games for them to knock off a 76ers team who they probably should have taken care of in 5, if we really want to keep it a bean, as one of the top teams in the East. I've been wrong a lot of times on the show, and I'll continue to be wrong. And I know I called it on the other side, but this series ain't leaving Miami. Miami closes this out in 4. I'm sorry. And I will humbly come on here and apologize if Boston wins a game, but I got to see it. This ain't leaving Miami.
As much as I wanted to head back to Boston, and I think it will, it's all going to be on game 3. If the Heat win game 3, it's a wrap. Game 4, bet the unders for everybody in game 4 on the Celtics. It's a wrap. Yeah. Just like how they did the Sixers when the Sixers gave up. Yeah, no, it's a wrap, man. So
no, I was just gonna say real quickly. I forgot to acknowledge it. This has been a coaching exhibition. Like, Eric Spoelstra has coached complete circles, and I'm not talking about a circle like my ring light here. I'm talking about a full racetrack around Joe Mazzulla. Like, it is just, I can't see it until I see him come up with a game plan to execute to get Boston the W. This ain't leaving Miami. When Boston goes home, they're going home, and it's over for them.
I'm sorry, Trevor. You quickly before I get back to 2. You forgot Tom Thibodeau. You forgot Mike Budenholzer.
No, I said all playoffs.
Yeah, no. Obviously, Sheedy. Obviously, I mean, I give credit where credit. So I'm talking pertaining to this series, but
I respect.
Just running around in circles around everybody. All right. Yeah, it's a wrap. Deuces. Got Bruni James out for Brun, and I got him out for Jason Tatum and them, and I can't wait to talk about what they do.
Hold on, real question. So is Bruni James for a gentleman sweep?
Yeah, it's for a gentleman's sweep. That's what I'm hoping.
So where's the thug version of Roomy James? Because we need like a full sweep right here. This ain't gonna be a gentleman's joint. Because I don't see this going back to Boston for Game 5 if Boston doesn't win tonight.
Now, this is where I would insert myself, but I won't say anything.
The floor is yours, brother.
You can go ahead and take the condom off for that one, player. All right.
In the show, because I in the show, I see it coming.
In the show, humbly.
Man, it's all wrong with him. But before we end the show, Trev, you said you had.
I got a your boy segment.
His name Sheedy.
No, it's not Sheedy actually. Sheedy's actually pretty cool. So that's we mess with Sheedy around here. So as you guys know, the San Antonio Spurs did win the NBA draft lottery, and would more than likely be drafting Victor Wembanyama with the first overall pick in this upcoming draft. So before this, we got to recording this show as I'm doing my preparations or whatever. Stumbled upon one Gilbert Arenas podcast or show per se, and of course there's some wild stuff that typically is said on there, typically from Gilbert Arenas on there, but this time it was from one of his I guess co-hosts, if you will, Mr. Rashad McCants. For those that don't know, former standout at North Carolina, was in the NBA for like a cup of coffee and things of that nature. And, you know, he was out of the NBA after some time or whatever. So he gets on the show and he pretty much just has his complaint and says that Greg Popovich is a bad coach just for the simple fact that he couldn't coach his current team up to the playoffs or things of that nature. Basically given the same thing that we talk about with Doc Rivers saying that, well, Pop could never coach up a team like that and win championships unless he had top level talent. So, but we all know, yeah, we know what happened. He had David Robinson. We know he tanked and got Tim Duncan. We know coached up Manu and Tony Parker to potential Hall of Fame career. We already know is that. And then he's more than likely going to do the same thing with Victor. And let's not forget, even after his last championship in 2014 with Kawhi and company, he still kept the Spurs afloat. They got into the playoffs one year, and then eventually they just fell out. So my thing is, why is you declaring him a bad coach? And he's done nothing but prove time and time again just how great of a coach he is. If not that, just look at his streak. And then he tried to reference the 2000s as a reason why he didn't really start winning after they won in 99. But again, if it wasn't for that Lakers dynasty in from 2000 2002 with that three-peat, Pop may be sitting up here with 7 or 8 rings right now, potentially. But I just felt that he was bored. The floor is y'all's. Go ahead. Say what you got to say.
Let me speak for Tuka and Sheeta here, ladies and gentlemen. For Gilbert, for him to say that Greg Popovich is a bad coach, he needs to be drug tested, and not necessarily for marijuana. Because this is where I have this debate with people all the time when they talk about Steve Kerr being a good or bad coach. At the end of the day, you have to do some form of coaching throughout the playoffs. You have to do that. And we've seen religiously time and time again, whether who's on the roster or not, coaches have to do certain things. They have to make adjustments. You have to press the right buttons here and there to get your team not only to the finals, but to win it. And Greg Popovich has how many rings against Sheeta? Please. He has 5 of them. He did that 5 times. And the only reason I feel like he could have more. Now, granted, the Spurs have not done him any justice with how they built the roster over the past couple of years. But Greg Popovich is a damn good coach and will probably be one of my favorite coaches of all time. So for him to say he can't coach is insane.
Lito, if you're going to talk for me, you really got to talk for me, bro. If you were to pull up the video, whatever, you'll see that he wearing a crown that's tighter than his damn headband. So that's probably what it is. His brain ain't getting too much blood circulation. He ain't getting too much oxygen up there. Like, pull it up. The damn crown small as hell. That's like the first scene and kind of the only thing that came to my mind because he got to be smoking something, bro. Got to be smoking. Just pull it up. Crown super small. He hating or something. He on some damn brain. He got brain damage. His head hurting.
Yeah, and the only thing I will say about this, and I'm not going to give Mr. McCants anything. Greg Popovich legitimately was one, pretty bad decision away from possibly having 6 rings. But he made a mistake, right? If he leaves in Tim Duncan or Boris Diaw to get that rebound against Miami, and I'm a Heat fan. They were up 3-2. They weren't down 2-3. We were down 3-2. They had already brought out the confetti. It was out there, ready to go. And if we don't get that rebound and a 3-point shot, 6 rings. So, and I'm not talking about the Jordans. And so, yep, I'll leave right there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he need help, man. He need help, but it is what it is, man. Shout out to Rashad McCants and his, what you say, short-lived career. Now he just out saying whatever come to his mind, if anything coming to his mind with that tight ass crown he wearing. So yeah, shout out to you, Trevor, bringing this to our attention. You're not gonna disrespect the greatest coach of our time and get away with it. So yeah,
exactly.
Good stuff, y'all. Shout out to everybody in the comments. Shout out, of course, Street Hardaway. Shout out to the Jeans Report. Our guy, we gotta have him back on and properly welcome him back into the game.
Okay, so do we bring him on after the Lakers are eliminated, or do we just wait till football
Sounds
season?
Like a great plan.
Do we wait till
Both.
After the Lakers are done, or do we wait till football?
Pretty much having on next week.
Both.
So we're gonna do both and have them on for football season, so we can have the entire NFC East.
He with gang now, man. He with the gang now.
All right, let's do it.
He with the game, man. Of course, shout out to Cap who come be with us, man. It is. Appreciate y'all for checking us. Make sure y'all follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff at LBR_media. Subscribe to us on YouTube and hit all the notifications. Listen and subscribe. We on 11 different platforms, so make sure y'all check us out, man. Again, appreciate y'all for listening, fellas. Appreciate y'all. Y'all are amazing. Deuces.